Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening. Here. This is the exact location of the command post. Nicole pointed it for Carl to see. So, it is in a remote area. That was why all of the men I've deployed were not able to find anything. This bunch is really cunning. Carl looked at the map and sighed. There's no use in being cunning. It will be the end of them once they are forced to engage us face to face. Nicole said confidently. Nicole, how are we supposed to destroy their command post just by staring at it? Carl jabbed, already impatient to make his way there and wipe them out. Let me think. Nicole stroked her chin as her brain got to work quickly. Right now, the Raven's forces have surrounded all of our entrances and exits. Therefore, it's kind of impossible for us to march an entire army out of the gates to attack the command post. We can only send a small squad comprising of our best out there. After that, we'll sneak our way through the enemies and launch an assault on the command post. Nicole said, analyzing the situation in accordance with their current circumstances. She felt that it would be easier for them to succeed with a sneak attack. I agree with you. But can we add 2 braves into our ranks? With them around, it could increase our chances of winning. Carl asked, having known Brave's lethality. In fact, he hoped that the Braves alone could wipe all of the enemies at the command post out due to how powerful they were. Brave is a little bigger in size. Having them around would make it difficult for us to sneak in, and it would quickly attract the opponent's attention. I don't think it would be wise to include the Braves in this mission. Nicole replied, disagreeing with the addition of the 2 droids. But it would increase the chances of us winning. Think about it, the command post would be heavily guarded. Even if our men are skilled enough, we might not be able to penetrate their defenses. Once our army gets obliterated, we would be suffering a huge loss. With the firepower that the Braves have to offer, however, the scales could be tipped. Our men could use the Braves as shields, allowing them to launch an attack on the command post effectively, Carl said, presenting his argument. Nicole gave his argument some thought after she had heard it. What Carl said is right. The manpower we have at the base is quite limited. If they send their best members out on this mission, it would of course be remarkable if they succeed. However, if they fail, the consequences for us will be truly awful. Let's think about this carefully and come up with the best plan. Now, let me take a picture of this map so that I can study it later. Nicole took her phone out and snapped a few pictures. Carl, remember, we share the same goal. Then, Nicole turned around and left the master control room. Once she had reached her room, Nicole projected the picture she had just taken to the wall. Then, she began to study it, but just as she was concentrating on the plan, her phone buzzed with the notification sound. She picked her phone up to find Zeke's message on the status bar. Lucifer, I've escaped to Lanningborg. Don't worry about me, I'll find you the instant I get to be alone at home. Lanningborg? I'm at Lanningborg too, but it'll be a little too inconvenient for me to be out and about. Please take care of yourself. I'll find you once I'm done here. Nicole then quickly told Zeke about the recent development which she did not have the chance to divulge during the time when he was last online. Before I forget, let me tell you some good news. The mission for the insignia has been completed. All that's left is for you to fill your name in. Really? Lucifer, you're my fairy godmother. When we meet, I'll make sure to thank you properly. You've really done me a huge favor. Zeke replied, expressing his gratitude. From his message itself, one could tell how happy he was. Okay, well, this is the truth of the situation. Because of that mission, I had to. Forget it, you must thank me properly the next time we meet. Nicole thought about it and decided not to tell him that she was being tailed. Zeke was already in hiding, so it was best for her not to add to his worries. After all, she was hiding at the base of productions belonging to Curly Corporation. Those pursuing her would not be able to harm her there. That much is certain. You can start thinking about what you want. Once I'm done here, I'll look for you. Alright, I'll let you know once I think of something. That's all for today. I'm going offline now. As soon as Zeke had sent her that message, he went offline. Nicole placed her phone down and continued studying for the sneak attack plan. All of a sudden, a knock was on the door. "Come in." Nicole knew that it was none other than Carl, as no one else would come looking for her. Carl pushed the door open and walked in with a cup of drink in his hand. There, he found Nicole studying the map and said, "Here." Nicole took the cup of coffee from Carl's hands. "If you're here, who's taking care of the central control room?" "Oh, everything is well taken care of. There's nothing to worry about." "Are you still thinking about the plan?" Carl looked at the map and asked. "Yeah, the terrain surrounding the command post is quite complex. I'm thinking about a way to overwhelm and destroy the command post all at once." Nicole turned to the map and began to think. "It'll be a challenge for us to overwhelm them right away. I think we'll have to take things slow with our plan and think of an exit strategy." Carl looked at Nicole. He wanted to work on the plan step by step. "Look at this. If we wish to get out, we will have to get past these two exits. However, both of these places are heavily guarded by the Raven. So, we'll have to think about how we could make the cross without alarming them," he said. "I've thought about this." "You've thought about it? What's your idea?" Carl looked at Nicole with his forehead creased. "We can't use any of these exits." "We can't use any of them? Well then, we wouldn't have any other way out." Carl replied to Nicole with a questionable look. "There's a path. Perhaps, it's a little too well hidden for anyone to discover it." Nicole smirked. "Which path?" Carl looked at Nicole in shock, for he had been at the base for quite some time now, and yet, did he not know about a third exit? "Look here, at the westmost side of the base. There's a river there. We can cross over through this river." Nicole pointed on the map for Carl to see. Carl fixed his gaze on that river at once, wondering why he had never thought of passing through that river. "I don't think it's possible for us to do so, Nicole. I remember that there aren't any bridges at that river, and the current is pretty strong. It's almost impossible for humans to swim in it." Carl explained, recalling the first day he patrolled the place. Indeed, he had checked the place out, just to discover that the current was really powerful, and that was why he did not bother to set up any defenses there. Based on his judgment, no one in their right mind would pick a route which involved crossing over such a dangerous river. It's true that humans won't be able to swim past it. But we could set up cable lines on both sides of the riverbank. Our terrain is slightly higher, so it would be easier for us to go there. That way, we could cross over quickly and easily. Nicole said without any hesitation. As soon as Carl heard of that idea, he immediately came to the realization that it was a feasible plan. He began to smile as he looked at the map. "Nicole, you're really amazing. This is the best idea ever." Carl turned around and praised her in admiration. Tip: don't get your hopes up. We might have been able to solve the problems we have now, but we still have to study this matter closely and plan our next few steps in advance in preparation for the next time it happens, Nicole blurted, her words extinguishing Carl's enthusiasm. "Why are you doing this, raining on my parade and all?" Carl grumbled, though he went ahead and sat next to her at the very next second. "When I arrived, I noticed that there was only a few who would dare walk the streets, and that members of the Raven would randomly blend into the crowd and form groups of 2 to 3. That's not many, I know, but I think it'll be best if our men avoid them for now. Though it's difficult for us, we must solve this issue as discreetly as possible without doing anything abrupt or suspicious, lest we attract the attention of the Raven," Nicole continued, summing up the things she had encountered in the city before this, and informing Carl about the dangers. "So you're saying that you encountered all of these when you came?" Carl asked, having keenly captured all of the details through Nicole's words. "I'm fine, however I was accosted by 2 people who were behaving suspiciously." When Nicole said this, the scene of a car exploding right behind her appeared in her mind. 2 people? Did they let you go, or did you help them out? Carl looked into Nicole's eyes and asked. "Of course, I didn't go around seeking trouble. I'll have you know that I'm a harmless person." Nicole looked at Carl with her eyebrows raised. "Yeah, right," Carl retorted, not believing that claim that she was harmless at all. The point is, remember what I've said, and you'll easily be able to avoid them. It seems that they have a clever scheme up their sleeves, so don't make a scene out the tiniest of things before they unveil their major plan. Nicole looked into Carl's eyes and warned. Don't worry about it, he replied. I will remember whatever you've said to me clearly. Now, can you tell me about Kara? I don't know much about Kara. I have to find out more about them. The problem is that there are many guards patrolling the command post, so we must divide our men into 2 groups. One to lure the guards away and another to kill those within the command post. While talking, Nicole began to research on Kara on the computer, while Carl looked at the map of the area they were going to infiltrate. There are no tall buildings around. It'll be difficult for us to snipe any of them because there isn't a high ground. But then again, splitting into 2 groups is one way to deal with it. Still, it won't be easy to overwhelm them if there are too many people in the area. Carr frowned while thinking of the possible scenarios. Nicole, as far as our forces are concerned, I don't think it'll be wise to deploy too small a number, or else, we risk being easily outnumbered. What you've pointed out is true. There shouldn't be too few of us, considering the fact that there are a lot of guards patrolling the command post, she replied. By the way, are there enough spare beacons to go around? Nicole suddenly remembered and asked. There's not much left, but it's more than enough for an entire elite squad, Carl replied while looking at Nicole. That's great. We must provide and equip the ones who will be deployed on this mission accordingly. We'll find a solution to make up for the equipment that we are lacking later on, Nicole planned. Okay. Come, take a look at this. This is the information I've found about Kara. Nicole placed the computer on the table. Kara doesn't seem to possess any valuable information. How could an ordinary person take a leading position in the Raven? He asked. And what's more important is, how do we secure Curly's base of productions, and how could the leader of the Raven send such a person here? This makes no sense, Carl said with a look of puzzlement. Since he is already leading the Raven, there must be something special about him. We can't afford to overlook and underestimate him. Perhaps his way of getting things done is very distinct from the others in the Raven. Let your subordinates know that we are to pay more attention when we are fighting. Back down when things play out in unusual ways, and remember to not be fight reckless, Nicole explained, having a hunch that Kara was a strange individual. Well, now that I think about it, seeing that this is all we can find out about him, I must admit that there's a lot that we still don't know about him. Should we send some of our men out to collect some information about him? Carl looked at Nicole and asked. Although we need to find out more about Kara, our current situation makes it difficult for us to send our men out. The roads and the river are no longer accessible. We can't let the Raven take note of these routes either, Nicole said in a solemn tone of voice. Yeah, you can go ahead and see if you can dig up more information about this. Carl looked at Nicole, assuming that it would be safer to investigate online. All right, I'll give it another go. Nicole began typing away, her fingers darting across the keyboard. All of a sudden, a voice blared out from Carl's walkie-talkie. Kay, there are 4 squads approaching the base in an orderly manner. Got it. I'll be there right away, Carl replied at once. You go right ahead. I'll stay here and continue with the investigation and planning, Nicole said to Carl. Okay. I'll come back to discuss with you after I've dealt with the Raven's assault. Carl got up and left as soon as he had finished his sentence. How's the situation out there? Carl walked into the central control room and asked. They're almost within our range, one of his subordinates reported. Get everyone ready. Once they are within range, they will be rendered helpless. I will kill each and every one that approaches. Carr ordered with a solemn expression on his face. Yes, sir. The Braves were then deployed to the various vital positions across the base, their ordnances trained at the Raven's advances that looked as if they were marching to their deaths at the enemy's doorstep. Under the command of Kara, the Braves suddenly accelerated in pace, with the 4 squads attacking the gates of the base almost simultaneously. Both sides then engaged in another fierce shootout. In the master control room, Carl was monitoring the situation, giving commands every now and again to adjust and alter his defensive strategy whenever changes occurred. Suddenly, Nicole walked in with her laptop. "Carl, take a look at this." Nicole showed Carl her computer screen. "Is this Kara's personal information?" Carl looked at Nicole in surprise. "That's right. He's the adopted son of the leader, which means that he has been learning from his father for some time now. He was probably sent to Curly's base of productions because the leader wanted him to gain some experiences." Nicole analyzed based on the given situation and information. "So, according to you, he is a highly valued member of the organization. Otherwise, he would not have been entrusted with a task like this," Carl deduced. "Yeah. How's the Ravens' siege effort now? Are they getting more aggressive?" Nicole asked while staring at the huge surveillance monitor before her. "Compared to their previous attacks, it's not as aggressive," Carl replied. "They might have failed in their previous attempts, but I think they might be testing the waters this time around," Nicole assessed. "Carl, I think now is the best time to launch a sneak attack on the command post, as they're still busy trying to break into the base. The ranks within the command post must have been thinned, so a sneak attack might grant us twice the results with half the effort." Nicole's eyes lit up as she looked at Carl. "You're right. I'll go ahead and gather our elites now." Carl turned around and left as soon as he was done speaking. "Please, keep an eye on the control room, Nicole." Carl turned around to look at Nicole before asking her for a favor. "Sure. Off you go, and remember everything I've told you." Nicole reminded as she returned his gaze. "Okay," he said. At the lobby, Carl had rallied a team of elites consisting of experienced and capable mercenaries handpicked from his ranks. As he stood before them, he said, "The task will be extremely difficult. Our mission is to capture and destroy the Ravens' command post. Their leader goes by the name of Kara. He is a person without much combat experience on the field, but he has been under the wing of the man helming the Raven for the longest time, so his abilities are not to be underestimated. This operation must be carried out with utmost caution. Fall back whenever you find that there is little resolve for the situation. Every single one of you are equally important, so do not wander off alone as a lone ranger, no matter what. Do you understand?" Carl glanced at everyone with a serious expression. "Sir, yes, sir." "Good, so here is the plan of action," he began again. "Jason and Yoli, the both of you will be in charge of this operation as squad leaders. From the base, use the zip line and make your way to the west side of the base. Upon reaching the enemy's base, divide yourselves into 2 groups. Jason, you're in charge of distracting the enemies and directing gunfire away. Yoli, you're in charge of engaging the enemies at the command post. Make your immediate return once the mission has completed. If the infiltration is a success, bring any useful information back to us, as well as some of Kara's belongings. Use the original route for your return, and make sure that none of the outsiders can spot you," Carl said, conveying Nicole's words to the group of elites. "And that is the strategy. If you encounter any problems during the operation, you may make your own decisions without reporting the situation to the base. Now, gather and check your equipment, everyone. If you have gotten everything you need, you may begin." Carl looked at them and ordered, "Yes, sir." The elite team proceeded to gather their equipment neatly before making a beeline for the small door leading out of the site. Carl then ordered one of them to open it, after which he watched as they left the base. At the same time, the Raven, who were engaging in violent combat outside of the production base, were unaware that the elite squad were slowly making their way to their command post. To smoothen their process of sneaking out of the base, Carl ordered some of the troops to direct their line of fire away from the area where the elite squad was. The fight lasted all morning, with both sides becoming exhausted as noon approached. Soon after, the Raven began to retreat. When Carl saw the Raven's forces retreating, he became worried that something had occurred, whereupon he contacted one of his men at once to inquire about the intentions of the other party. The Raven seems to be readjusting. Some are resting and rearming themselves," the man reported back. "Well, if that's the case, keep an eye out on them and keep me updated if there are any recent movements on their part," Carl ordered. "Yes, sir." "Nicole, let's go grab something to eat," Carl suggested, knowing that Nicole must be hungry after staying in the control room all morning. Sure. At the cafeteria, Nicole looked at Carl and said, Carl, the people whom you've assigned the mission to. Have you gotten any news from them? Not yet, Carl replied while looking at the time. Nicole took a deep breath and kept mum. After the meal, she went back to her room to catch some sleep while Carl returned to the central control room to continue monitoring the situation outside. Nicole sat down and took her phone out before opening the remote surveillance application on her device to see Fiorella sitting beside Jared, who was still lying motionless on his hospital bed. She was holding a book in her hand. It seems that she is reading to Jared, Nicole thought upon seeing Fiorella stopping and glancing at Jared after reading a few sentences from her book. Nicole then moved the surveillance camera around, and found that Jared and Fiorella were the only ones in the ward, with Martin being nowhere to be found. Where did that fool wander off to? I left Jared in his hands, and he's not even there. And why is Fiorella there too? Nicole murmured, feeling completely dismayed. Nicole proceeded to dial Martin's number, and waited for him to answer. Nicole, are you okay? Martin immediately answered Nicole's call as he walked out of the meeting room. I'm fine, but what's the deal with Fiorella? Nicole asked Martin directly. Fiorella Fisher? What are you talking about? Martin asked sloppily. Don't play dumb with me. She's in Jared's ward. Do you want me to go on? Nicole asked, her tone icy. She was not expecting Martin to withhold such an important piece of information from her. It was then that Martin suddenly remembered the cloud surveillance camera in the ward. Nicole must have seen Fiorella through it. So, you already knew about Fiorella. Well, I couldn't leave Jared alone in the ward. I have other things that I need to deal with. After much consideration, I think that Fiorella is the best person suited to take care of Jared, and that was why I came up with that decision, he said with traces of guilt in his voice. Where's Max when you're busy? Nicole asked. Max has company matters to deal with too, and with Jared locked in his current state, no one else in the company knows what to do. Max and Claus have been busy with the company's affairs. They occasionally come over to visit Jared, but they would leave whenever they receive a phone call, Martin replied, explaining the predicaments that Max and Claus were to Nicole. Upon hearing Martin's words, Nicole's anger began to dissipate. Indeed, Max and Claus had been working hard ever since Jared fell into a coma. Martin, I know that you've been worried about this, but to let Fiorella take care of Jared? Don't you know how Fiorella feels about him? Nicole said bluntly. I know precisely how Fiorella feels about Jared, and that was why I entrusted her with the task of taking care of Jared. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to deal with my own stuff. There isn't anyone else that's more suited to look after him right now, he said. This is the reason as to why I didn't ask you for your opinion. Firstly, you were out of reach, and secondly, I was afraid that you would disagree if you found out, Martin continued, expressing his concerns freely. Martin, am I an unreasonable person to you? She asked. Of course not. It's just that I didn't arrange things well, Martin replied, knowing that Nicole wasn't angry anymore right after he had heard what she had to say. Anyway, when are you coming back? Martin asked. I still have some difficult things to deal with here. I can't come back for the time being. As for Jared, I'll leave him in your and Fiorella's hands for now, she replied after some hesitation. Don't worry about Jared. You should take care of yourself over there, Martin reminded with concern. Don't worry about me, Martin. There is one more thing I need you to keep as a secret for me, she requested. What's that? He asked. If Jared wakes up, don't tell him that I'm now abroad. You must not let him come and look for me, Nicole said in a stern voice. That will be difficult. I mean, if everything can be dealt with before he wakes up and he asks me about you, Anyway, it won't take that long for you to come back, right? Martin hesitated with a hint of embarrassment. I'm not sure how long I'll take, she blurted out. Bottom line is, if Jared wakes up and I haven't returned by then, you must never let him know that I'm not in the country. You must keep this as a secret from him. Nicole urged. All right, I'll try my best to keep it a secret, but it'll come a day when he discovers the truth, and I'm not to blame when he does, Martin said, not wishing to deceive Jared again. I hope that you'll be able to come back soon so that I won't have to lie to him again, he said. Mr. Wyance, everyone has a few questions they'd like to ask you, Charles said after coming out of the conference room and walking up to Martin. Okay, I'll be right back. Go ahead and take care of things on your end first. Bye, Nicole said upon hearing everything that was happening on Martin's end. Okay, I'll call you when I have the time. Martin hung up. In the room, Nicole looked at the set of doors, suddenly wishing that Jared would regain consciousness, so that she would have more time. Outside, the Braves and the troops were still trying their best to fend off the offensive mounted by the Raven. Nicole was not in the mood to stay in the room for the entire day, so she got up and walked out of the room, before heading to the central control room. Why is it that there are a bunch of people engaging those around them? What's the situation? Carl murmured in puzzlement while looking at the monitor. What's wrong? Nicole walked over and asked. Take a look outside, Carl said, imploring Nicole to look at the monitor. Nicole proceeded to keep her eyes on the monitor, which then showed her the very scene that Carl had witnessed earlier. Nicole recognized those who were locked in battle with the Raven immediately. I didn't expect them to come here, Nicole whispered. Nicole, who are those people you're talking about? Carl asked upon hearing what she had said. Oh, nothing. I'm talking about the people from the Raven. Have you met them outside before? Nicole asked, concealing the truth from him. Carl looked at Nicole in disbelief, after which he continued to pay attention to the battle outside. It was clear that the situation outside had gotten messy. The men who were not part of the Raven had gradually been caught in the siege mounted by the Raven, and in the midst of the battle, they were caught in the crossfire. A wicked smile appeared on Nicole's mouth as she watched them being killed one by one. Those people who had followed me before should be gone by now. Man, I wasn't expecting the Raven to do me such a huge favor. Indeed, the Raven had regarded the group out there as the members of the base, mistaking them as the base's reconnaissance team, and had thus immediately surrounded and attacked them. It was at this moment that a voice blared out of Carl's walkie-talkie. Kay, we have reached the other side of the river. We need someone to get us. Okay, I'll send someone to meet you on the other side of the river right away, Carl ordered. Nicole, since you're here, I'll go out to meet them, Carl said as he looked at her, after which he turned around and left. About half an hour later, Carl returned to the base with the members of the elite team. Nicole went out to greet them, assuming that they had successfully completed the task. She took a look at them, and that was when her eyes widened in shock. Why are you all injured? She walked over and asked. Initially, we had lured the guards outside the command post. Yoli then went in to deal with the ones inside. A group of people suddenly came out of nowhere and attacked me. We were fortunate that we were able to fight our way out, or else, we would have been beaten to a pulp, Jason reported to Nicole. Nicole looked at Carl as she listened to what Jason had to say, after which she ordered, bring them in and get their injuries treated first. After they had left, Nicole continued, it seems that when I went there to scout them, they had noticed me and taken some precautions. This time we have gotten ourselves some casualties. If we want to get rid of Kara, we have to think in terms of the long run. Nicole and Carl conversed as they walked along, side by side. I didn't expect Kara to be so cunning. It seems that we had underestimated him, Carl said as his eyes narrowed. Perhaps we did. I'm beginning to think that Kara is an interesting figure, after all. I must meet him in person when I get a chance, Nicole said in a low voice. Outside the base, the Raven began to gradually retreat as they had received orders from their higher-ups. Then, the base of production slowly reverted to its previous state of calm, with the sun setting in the background. Harvey had come to visit Jared at the hospital today, but when he entered, Martin was nowhere to be found. Instead, he was faced with the sight of Fiorella. Why are you here? Harvey looked at Fiorella in surprise and asked, Mr. Ellison, are you here to visit Mr. Johnston? Fiorella asked, ignoring the look of surprise on Harvey's face. Noticing that she had not bothered to answer his question, he looked at her and asked, judging from the fact that you're this calm, I'm assuming that you've been coming here regularly, haven't you? What do you mean I've been coming here regularly? I have always been here accompanying him, okay? Fiorella got up from her seat and poured herself a cup of water. Always been here accompanying Mr. Johnston? Am I hearing this right? Where's Martin? Harvey looked at Fiorella in disbelief and asked. Naturally, Dr. Wyance has other things he needs to tend to, so he didn't show up today. Fiorella looked at his shell-shocked expression, knowing that Martin had not told him any of this. Why this Martin? How can he let you in here when Nicole had entrusted Jared to him? Harvey muttered about calling Martin. Fiorella heard Harvey's loud murmur, but she did not stop him. Instead, she returned to Jared's hospital bed with her glass of water, whereupon she continued reading to him. Harvey looked at Fiorella's actions in shock before dialing Martin's number. Martin, what are you doing? Why is Fiorella in Jared's ward? Harvey asked Martin in a low voice. You went to visit Jared? How is he? Martin asked about how Jared was doing, ignoring Harvey's question. Harvey issued a sigh of defeat. He glanced at Fiorella, after which he moved closer to the window and asked, Martin, did you hear what I'm asking you? What's going on with Fiorella? Oh, you're talking about her. I brought her here to take care of him. I've been running around, busy as a beaver as of recent, Martin explained. But you can't ask help from her. If Nicole finds out, she'll skin you alive. Harvey suddenly realized his voice was a little too loud and immediately lowered his volume. Don't worry. Nicole is aware of it, Martin replied to him calmly. What? Nicole knew? And she agreed to it? Harvey asked in surprise. Well, Nicole took this much better than you did, Martin mocked. If there's nothing else, I've got to hang up. I've still got much to do here. Okay then, I'll talk to you later. Harvey said and hung up, given the situation at hand. Fiorella shot a bullet of a glance at Harvey before continuing to read. Harvey then returned the glance and asked, Are there any signs of Jared waking up? No. Oh, are you reading here? Harvey took a glimpse of the book in her hand and casually asked. This is Mr. Johnston's favorite book, so I'm reading it to him. Fiorella looked at Jared and said, Oh, go right on ahead then. I have something I need to attend to, so I'll be leaving. Harvey bade Fiorella goodbye and left the ward. Then, Harvey looked at the bodyguard standing by the door and asked, How long has Fiorella been taking care of Jared here? It's been several days, the bodyguard replied. Harvey gave him a slight nod, took another glimpse of the ward once more, and left. In the car, Harvey made a phone call to Nicole. He had not been able to reach her for the past few days, but much to his delight, the call connected today. He was excited as he waited for Nicole to answer. Hey, why did you call me? Nicole's voice blared out. How are you, Nicole? It's been a while, and I'm glad that I'm finally able to reach you today. Harvey said, elated to hear Nicole's voice. I'm doing very well, so you don't have to worry about me, she replied. Nicole, I just left the hospital. Do you know anything about Jared as of recent? Harvey carefully asked. You went to see him? How is he? Nicole quickly asked Harvey upon hearing Jared's name being uttered, as she thought that he was showing signs of consciousness. Calm down, he's fine. But there's an uninvited guest in his ward, Harvey said, wanting to tell Nicole about it gradually. Uninvited guest? Who is it? Nicole asked as she wondered. Did someone go in there to look for him? Please don't get mad if I tell you. They didn't do anything. Harvey said, having thought hard about it. Just tell me who's there. She yelled. I saw Fiorella. She's in his ward. Harvey replied, having mustered up the courage to tell Nicole. Who else is there? Nicole asked. No one. But aren't you shocked that Fiorella was there? This was not what Harvey was expecting, as he thought Nicole would be stunned to know that Fiorella was there. Can you not beat around the bush next time? Nicole chided, as she thought that the people who were after her had gone in to look for Jared. I already know about her taking care of Jared, so you don't have to act like it's a big deal, she said. You knew about this? Harvey's eyes widened in shock. Yeah, Martin explained to me already, she said. How's Jared? Fiorella didn't do anything that crossed the line, did she? It was a lie to say that Nicole was not worried. Nicole knew everything that Fiorella had done to Jared too, which was why she was slightly anxious. He's just the same as always. Fiorella didn't step out of line and was just reading a book there. She even said that it was a book that Jared liked, he informed. Harvey had not heard that there was a book that Jared liked, so he was wondering how Fiorella knew about it. A book? Nicole asked, slightly surprised. Yeah, don't you know what book Jared likes? Seems like you don't really pay attention to him, Harvey teased. Why wouldn't I know? Other than reading to Jared, what else did she do? Nicole brushed the topic aside and continued asking Harvey. Nothing. I wasn't there for long. I left when I saw that there was nothing unusual with Jared. Harvey recalled. If you're free these days, please visit Jared for me and let me know if anything happens, she requested. Harvey knew what Nicole had meant and said, sure, I'll visit him once every few days. I guarantee that you'll be the first to know when something happens to him. Sure, thank you. I'll treat you to a feast when I'm back, Nicole said. In that case, you've got to come back soon. Don't try to trick me with this offer. Harvey said. In truth, he just wanted to see Nicole. He was bored to death when she was not around, as there was no one that he could talk to. Okay, I'm busy with something here, so I'll hang up now, she said. Bye. Then, Nicole ended the call. A few days later, Nicole and Carl plotted to attack the Ravens command post once more, as the injured members of the elite team that had been assaulted was recovering well. Nicole, go get some rest. You've been at it for the entire morning. Carl looked at Nicole with concern. It's fine, I'll study it for a while longer. Nicole shot a glance at him before looking back at the map. Hearing this, Carl took the map away from her and folded it. What are you doing? I'm still looking at it, Nicole asked Carl. Take a break from it and go out with me for a bit, Carl said with a serious look on his face. Where are we going? Nicole asked with a frown. You'll know in a bit. Let's go. Carl stood up and looked at Nicole, motioning her to follow him. As Carl had stored the map away, Nicole could only follow him outside. Both of them then walked out of the meeting room, and Carl took Nicole to the lounge. Nicole saw the lounge the moment she walked in and asked, Why did you bring me here? Do you know that our time is precious? She was about to turn and leave when Carl grabbed her wrist. Taking a rest wouldn't be a waste of time. You've been exerting yourself for the entire time, so it is safe to say that your mind is pretty fuzzy at this point. Have a seat. I'll make a cup of coffee for you. It's been some time since you tried it, huh? Carl persuaded Nicole, prompting her to finally sit down. After a short while, Carl walked over with 2 cups of coffee. Here, see if my coffee has become worse. Nicole looked at the coffee and found that Carl had even decorated it with some latte art. Seeing this, she smiled and took a sip of the coffee. Meanwhile, Carl watched her expression closely before he asked, How is it? Suddenly, Nicole feigned a look as though she had just tasted something awful. Why is this so bad? Your skills have deteriorated, Carl. Huh? Is it that bad? Let me give it a try. Carl grabbed Nicole's coffee, attempting to taste it for himself. Nicole quickly stopped him, even if she had to touch his hand. I'm just messing with you. In response, Carl rolled his eyes. I'm being nice to you, and yet here you are screwing around with me. To be honest though, your coffee brewing skills have actually improved a little, Nicole praised him with a smile. Ah, that's impossible. Who knows if you're kidding or not? He said, reluctant to believe that Nicole was complimenting him. TSK, you won't even believe me even when I'm giving you a compliment, so let's just forget about it. Nicole drank the coffee. Okay, I believe you. I believe in anything you say, and that's why I was fooled, he said in defeat. You've been here for so long, but why hasn't Jared come over to see you? Did you sneak your way here? Carl asked, as he suddenly thought about Jared, whom he had always considered to be an overbearing guy. Come on. Why must I even sneak around? She asked. He's really busy with his work, so he can't be with me wherever I go. Besides,
I told him that I was coming to visit you this time, so he's not worried at all. Nicole continued, telling him a lie with a straight face.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.